Welcome, everyone. We are going to be speaking about legal issues in Cyprus and the changing landscape that we're all experiencing right now. My name is Androula Boujouri. I'm the founder of the European Legal Training Center. We specialize in practical legal training for lawyers and business professionals. And I would like to first introduce our panel. You're going to have to bear with me because they are an accomplished panel, so I have lots to say about them. We'll start here with Lucy. Lucy Loizou is the managing partner at the International Family Law Group in the UK. She is a leading expert in complex financial cases, including divorce and separation, and she often advises high net worth individuals and has cases with a lot of international elements. She's an expert in trust and corporate asset disputes, and I think most importantly, she's the go-to lawyer for the Cyprus Diaspora on any issues regarding family law. Lucy is also the host of a fortnightly family law radio show on London Greek Radio in the UK, and she's a lecturer nationally, internationally, and the founder of an Anglo-Greek legal association that fosters collaboration between Cyprus lawyers and Greece lawyers. She is also a fellow of the International Academy of Family Lawyers, vice chair of Resolution, and the founder of the National Young Resolution. She's also a really good golfer. Yeah. Then we have Mr. Savas Savidis, who is the senior partner at Michael Gyprianou Law Office. He is the managing director of the Bafos office and head of the real estate department. He has over 20 years of experience and advises both individual and corporate clients in Cyprus and internationally. He has expertise in real estate, immigration, commercial litigation, business law, and cross-border legal matters. And he has played a key role in expanding the firm internationally and nationally. We then have Savina, she's a senior lawyer with the commercial department of GZG Law Firm. She advises on corporate and commercial law matters and mergers, acquisitions, AML and compliance, cross-border transactions, and she has significant experience in MiFID investment firms. She advises on CISEC regulatory compliance and handles complex licensing matters. And she is very well versed in due diligence reports, issuing legal opinions on sanctions and guiding clients through regulatory issues. So a very accomplished panel, I'm sure you will all agree with me. And so I'm going to kick off our session by asking a very simple question. And the question is, what is one shift that is either big or small that you have personally observed or experienced in the legal industry over the last 2 or 3 years that has made you say, oh, or made you stop and think? I'll start with Lucy. It's not working.
Dora? Okay.
Yeah.
Dora, thank you very much for the warm introduction, and thank you to everybody who's here today. So as a family lawyer, one of the things that I've found that's really changed, particularly since the pandemic, is how family law disputes are dealt with in England and Wales. We have much more of a focus on settling things outside of court now, much less litigation, and that's been a serious and significant shift for us. We've had some laws change in the last 18 months where if you're going to court on a family law matter, you can't just issue a court application without first trying to resolve things outside of court and through the mediation process. And it's now become compulsory to do so. And if we go to court and we have a case where we haven't gone to mediation, a judge is going to say to us, guys, why are you here? Why are you not here, having mediated? Now, obviously, some cases aren't suitable for, mediation, but that's been the big shift for us. We've had a change in the law that says you need to try and settle outside of court. And personally, I found that much less cases are going to contested final hearings. People are becoming far more cost-conscious, value for money, and we're going to talk about that, I know, in terms of how they resolve their disputes.
Thank you. I think that's something we're seeing in Cyprus now as well, is more of a shift towards mediation. Whilst it's not obligatory yet in family issues, we're seeing that starting to come, and I think we'll probably be following the UK model soon. Yeah. What do you think, what has made you stop and think?
Okay, so basically, Adrula, what you just said, yes, in Cyprus we're trying as well to adopt the UK approach in order to find the possible scenarios of out-of-court settlements. That was the reasons as well that we have the recent amendments on the civil procedures regulations as an attempt to people to be more productive, let's say, in finding solutions by first sending the demanding letters, so entering into discussions and negotiations, and if it's possible as well, to reach into a settlement case, and then sometimes even declare that settlement case over in court. Now, what I find as challenging and how things has changed through the years, personally, I will go back a little bit years ago. Recently, I was following in the LinkedIn about Alekos Markidis, the former Attorney General of the Republic. It's been 5 years and passed away. And I was going back in time, and I said to myself that I was quite fortunate that, you know, when I started, it was one of my teachers, one of my trainers at that time, together with Michalakis Triantafylidis. And then I was fortunate enough to have Michael Kyprianou in my life. And I stuck with Michael Kyprianou until now. But what I find it surprising is at that time, you know, you was discussing cases with these people in a very nice way, and legal opinions, amendments on the law, how this can be done and how can this be affected. Now these days, something that I don't personally like is that everyone's become expert. Everyone's expressed an opinion through the social media. And at the end of the day, you have a group of people that they are followers of someone that express an opinion on the social medias, which actually doesn't have a legal background, but it's just expressing an opinion, and then everyone says, yes, he's right. And we can see this as well nowadays in politics. Yeah. And, you know, politics and law are very related. And we see that whoever is expressing an opinion, whoever actually these days, you know, I'm bringing something new, something fresh, new ideas, irrelevantly, if he hasn't done any research, people, they start following it. Now, these days is something that we see a lot. This was something that we didn't see at my times when I started in 2000, 2001. And I hope that now with the new technology, with artificial intelligence, at least we're going to get into better levels. Okay, hopefully we're going to discuss about that later, and that things will change to the best.
Yeah. I think that with artificial intelligence, it's given more people without a legal background the opportunity to give the wrong advice on social media, and because they have this character that people want to follow.
Yes.
But we obviously, as a profession, need to do something about that.
I would tell you something. Sorry, I'm sure. Taking more of your time. I done a 3 questions over to AI the other day. And actually what I did, I downloaded one document on ChatGPT, and I asked him, you know, give me a summary. And he gave me a summary, and at the end of the day, he said to me, I'm not a licensed lawyer, so you need to take proper legal advice. So I replied back to him, and I say, what do you mean you are not a licensed lawyer? Do you have a law degree? And then he replied back to me and say, apologize, I don't have a law degree. So I took a picture of it.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, because nowadays we have to face that as well.
Yeah.
You know, clients are coming back, you're giving them your advice or a draft document. They download it over on the chat GPT, and they making questions, and then they're coming back, and you say, oh my God, do I need to reply all these questions now? Which doesn't make any sense sometimes, and also irrelevantly to their case.
Yeah. Savina, what do you think has made you stop and think over the last few years?
I agree with a lot of things that you have said, and I think we will have the chance down the line to talk a bit more about that. But in my field, what has really made me think was just how much regulatory complexities now drive the legal profession and the work that our clients are expect to receive from us. And it's no really anymore just expressing a legal position. They want their lawyer to integrate all the regulatory all the regulation, the operational risk and everything into one. And I noticed that they are very much focused, not just understanding what the law says, they are very interested in understanding what the law means for their personal sustainability. And I find it very interesting and quite hopeful in my eyes, because that means that they want to redefine how they see their lawyer. They want not somebody who simply tells them what are their rights and obligations. They really want somebody to translate their compliance and regulatory obligations into business-oriented solutions, and they want a strategic advisor. They basically, and with all the changes, everything is, all the changes around us, I think they really want somebody a navigator through the uncertainty. And that makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside as a lawyer, to be honest.
I completely agree with you that there's, especially in Cyprus right now, there's a huge shift where clients are looking for you to be more of their business advisor / legal advisor. And create more business-orientated solutions, for sure. Yeah, I've seen that shift too. But ending on something positive, going to something not so positive, is the uncertain economic times that we're living in right now. And I will start with Lucy. In general, you deal with people who have a lot of emotional baggage. They're coming to you because their marriage has broken down, right? Or they have problems with their children. And we're seeing that a lot of people are having financial pressures. There's a lot of legal uncertainty as well about what the outcome will be. Do you think that that's affecting what clients will see as valuable services in general?
So I think, one of the things with family law is, you're right, it's a highly emotional area of the law. And one of the things that I find is that clients will want to offload emotional stuff on us. And we have to say to them as their lawyer, look, I'm here to be your legal advisor. I want to help you through this. But it will cost them a lot of money if they want to use me as a counselling service. I often say to clients, look, from the emotional side, make sure you have your support network around you to help you. In terms of value for money and what people regard as value for money, that has changed a lot. And there definitely has been a shift. And as a law firm, we've had to look at how we deal with that. People are far more cost conscious. They are looking for negotiated, practical solutions. And a few of the things that we've done as a firm is we offer what are called bundled services. So clients don't instruct us now so much to take the case on from start to finish, but they say, I'm doing my case on my own, but can you help me with this section of work? And so we have specific fee estimates given for pieces of work that we do. we also have team structures in place internally. So, for example, on a case that I work on, I'll be the partner with conduct of the case, but I'll have my associate, my trainee, and my paralegal underneath me on the case, and they'll all have lower hourly rates so that we can give a more cost-effective service which gives good value for money for the client. And I think with so much information available online, particularly with, we're going to talk about the availability of information, I think going to the point that you make, people are far more orientated towards tactics, towards settlement outcomes, rather than just a lawyer holding their hand from start to finish to get their case to the end. So what people define as value for money is very different now to, I think, what it was 10 years ago. And it's the way that we as lawyers navigate to get the best possible outcome for a client.
Great. Thanks a lot, Lucy.
Thank you.
To Sava. As we just said, clients are under pressure from rising costs, but also tighter regulation, especially in Cyprus. We've had an uptick in a lot of regulation lately, and that brings a lot of uncertainty. What do you see clients coming to Cyprus are asking for now that they weren't asking for a few years ago?
I think now clients, they are asking for practical solutions. They are not anymore in the positions where they was asking just to provide them with a legal opinion. The uncertainty in the international market, the change of the economical environment, from one day to the other, business, we saw them going down. It makes them to be very careful when they're choosing their legal counsels anymore, to be in a positions where they're going to have a very speedy, quick, and effective solutions to provide to them. And also, they don't want any more the hassles. I mean, there is no point of mentioning about articles of the law, about case law, and what one judge says and what the other judge says, because we are a common law country at the end of the day. But what they want is what we call resume. I mean, what is the final thing that we're getting out from all this? And this is what they want to implement into their business. Now, I see that these days a lot of law firms, they start adopting that approach, and it's good in a way. But of course, we have to be very careful as well, because sometimes when we are in situations where, the clients stop asking you, stopping you basically from going in deep into some legal issues, and sometimes the clients are pushing, just give me the answer and that's it. To be careful not to put ourselves in the positions that we go in directly to the solutions without looking the theory, because theory is always good, and we know it very well from our law degrees, that we spend time reading cases, reading books, because you need that in order to become a lawyer. And in practice as well, this is part of your life. These days, law firms that they had they adopted that approach, and they employ lawyers where they are specialized on areas of the law. It makes the clients more happy, because as Lucy said, she's doing family law. We're not anymore in the situations where one lawyer was doing everything, which traditionally we saw it a lot in Cyprus happening. But now big firms, each one is specialized. It's more cost effective as well, because it's different to have someone who is specialized and knows the answers, know where to check, and know how to, at the end of the day, provide the best solutions over to the clients. But also, it's quick. But the most important is that you can take even more cases, because you have a great team behind you that can work, can provide solutions on time. And for me, also, the most important thing is that you can have this personal touch, because when you have the time, then you can have the personal touch with your client. You can visit his offices. You can see where exactly they are facing off. I mean, the other day, again, sorry, I'm talking about personal experience again, but I had a client that he just walked in. He says, look, Savas, I have this issue with an employee. He's not performing on her duty. She's breaching her employment contract because the employment contract says that she needs to work over the weekends, and now she's decided that she don't want to work over on the weekends. And at the end of the day, I serve her a notice that you breach your employment contract. And then she replied back to me that you cannot fire me because I'm pregnant. And then she said to me, now I'm stuck. What I'm doing? Okay. Now, it's an area that I'm not familiar with it, okay, to be honest with you. So for me, immediately I pick up the phone, I call a colleague which was upstairs, look, Annalisa, come downstairs, I need an issue here. Tak, immediately give solutions. And the client really appreciated it because really he was stuck in a situation where he didn't know what to know. And the position and the place that the position that person had, it was in the front desk in a medical center. And immediately, he didn't have an employee to cover the front desk because of this situation.
Yeah. I think what you're talking about in terms of specialization within our field, we saw it for a very long time where we were just being asked to do everything and to know everything, which is impossible. But having that specialized, approach, as they do in the UK, is going to be very useful for clients and for us. Do you think, though, and this is a question to both of you, do you think that in Cyprus we're doing enough to advertise the fact that we have specialist lawyers in specific areas? Can clients find those specialists?
I think there is always more that can be done. But we are just starting out to showcase our expertise more loudly, because as you said, for many years it was expected from lawyers to know pretty much everything. I think we can improve what we show to the world, because there is really good quality of specialists in all the services professions, and it's important to advertise ourselves as such, because with all the growing regulation and uncertainty, this is what the client needs. It's somebody who knows what they're talking about, doesn't waste their time, as you very correctly said, and to somebody who can not only tell them what to do now, but also prepare them to keep them flexible with all the changes that are coming along. So it's very important that we get the word out that Cypriot lawyers, Cypriot professionals in general, are able to do that. They do have the know-how.
Yeah.
One thing that... So within our firm, we specialise in international cases, so cases that have an international aspect. And within our team, we have specialists of specific areas. So, for example, I specialise in divorce and finance work in family law, and we've got a team that just does children work. So it's a specialisation within a specialisation. And when we market and when we look to generate work, and we'll talk about this, we gear our networking, our marketing towards our areas of specialisation. When I get a letter from a solicitor instructed on the other side and I look them up and it says they're a specialist in civil litigation, criminal law, family law, a bit of everything, I think, oh God, this is going to be an expensive and a long case, because they don't know the day-to-day stuff that they do. And it's not a slant on them, it's just that that case is not going to run smoothly because they don't specialise. And I think one of the things we found as a practice is by selling ourselves as specialists in a particular market, that helps to generate the business and bring in the clients.
Yeah. I think that brings us into, business development within law firms. you've touched on your marketing and how you would market your specialties, but have you changed in the past few years how you meet the expectations of clients, how you find clients, how you market to clients? What has changed for you over the past few years in terms of business development?
I think the access to information online is a blessing to some extent for people, in that it helps people to find a lawyer. And the way we've harnessed that is by making sure we put out regular content, whether it's articles about specific topics that will be of interest to clients. So we use the availability of online resources to generate work that way. Personally, though, I think there's no substitute to one-to-one marketing, in-person marketing, going out there and meeting people. Because with family law, particularly with family law, people instruct a person, they instruct a personality. They don't need a lawyer that's just going to read the law to them. They need someone who's going to understand their case, that's going to be empathetic. And so from that perspective, I always say to our juniors, go out there and do your stuff in person. Don't just rely on the network and the marketing on Google and things like that. You know, go and be yourselves, because as family lawyers, that's how you're going to bring your work in.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
no substitute for that at all.
In person.
Absolutely.
Despite all the tech out there.
Despite all the tech.
Yeah. Savas, your firm, we know, is quite a successful firm in Cyprus, very established firm in Cyprus, and we know that clients keep coming back to you. From your perspective as a managing director, what do you think your firm does in Cyprus that keeps those clients coming back to you?
I think, Andrula, the most important thing and the number one is communication, communication, communication. This is what we trying as well to train the new junior lawyers in order to understand that it's very important to communicate with our clients. We are living in an era where now communications are very easy. WhatsApp, emails, phone calls, everything. I mean, everyone is accessible to all the means now these days. So, I mean, it's impossible and not correct as well. From the moment that the client is trying to communicate with you and then you are not responding to your emails, you are not returning your phone calls. I think that was our main principles that we always had a unwritten rule when we was employing junior lawyers, that, you know, emails at least with 24 hours, phone calls immediately needs to be returned back. With the first opportunity, you cannot leave the office without returning back your phone calls. Now, also something that as MK, as a law firm, what makes us, I think, to establish ourselves through the years, I think, is the long-term relations with our clients. We have managed to respect them, not only from the perspective of the legal fees, but also to the fact that they grow, we grow, they grow. And we going together with them. And this is the reasons why in a lot of cases where we had situations, and especially in corporate cases, where the clients was coming back to us and they were saying, okay, you're offering an excellent service, but you know, I have huge problems with accountants and the auditors, and as a result, at the end of the day, even if you offer me the service, then I stuck with accountants and the auditors, and we have a problem. What is telling us this is that, you know, lawyers, accountants, bankers, they are very related with a business structure. And all of them needs to be on the same level, to be in a situations where they're going to be response. As a firm also, we have done something again, which I believe that we are the first ones that we started doing that, by opening the various branches in the different jurisdictions. Now, why that? Because we wanted to offer to our clients the service that they needed wherever they are. If they are in Tel Aviv, okay, they are in Cyprus, but they are running business in Tel Aviv. The combinations of getting as well the advice in both jurisdictions, it's very important. And then it was to Athens, and then we went to Malta. And why Malta? Because we saw that gaming, the currency situations, each time we was evaluating and see how we can help our clients to grow and not to rely only on what I'm going to give him as an advice. And at the end of the day, if he goes further to another law firm in another jurisdiction, he will stack and he will not be able. Same level, same professional level, service to whatever jurisdictions they are. Now, it's not an easy task. As a firm, we had faced a lot of challenges through the years. We're still facing challenges with our Kiev office, which we all know at the moment that nothing goes on in Kiev, but we are still standing there. I mean, Dimitro has been great all these times. Honestly, I'm saying that, and I feel the chilling in my body, because even though the very difficult situations in Ukraine, he was standing there trying to assist the clients. There was times that he was replying emails from the basement. Yeah. Now, it's not only opening the branches of Androula, it's also to find the persons that they share the same approach and goals, values, yeah. Okay? Which again, that's a different subject. Yeah. It's a big subject to find people. We've been lucky, however, that we have a great teams with us. And also, the other thing is that we recognize, we appreciate, and we say a big thank you to our lawyers, okay? And that's why we saw a lot of them through the years starting from a junior lawyers, becoming a senior associate, becoming a salary partners, and goes on, and they grow with the firm, and they feel nice. They are in situations where they become part of the team, part of the culture, and they are in the positions to share their experience with the juniors ones. Because if you're expecting me or Menelaos, who's sitting in Nicosia, or Tonia, who's sitting over in Limassol, to be able to expand the firm alone is impossible, Androula. You need to create a team. Yeah. I think that's some of the reasons why the firm had managed to be expanded all these years. Yeah.
Well, Savina also works for a very established and successful firm here in Cyprus. I think you're up to like 40 lawyers now. You're expanding quite rapidly, correct?
50.
50 now. 50, I missed 10. So, what do you think that law firms can do to innovate more and to attract the diaspora, to attract more foreign nationals to Cyprus, and to let us support them in their business goals in general? How can we be more innovative, do you think?
Well, we are talking about law firms innovating themselves, yes. So not Cyprus industries in general. So when we are talking about innovation in legal services, it doesn't necessarily mean reinventing the law. It usually, more often than not, means simply to reevaluate the client experience, the tools we use, and how we package our expertise in certain areas. So we can be innovative by how we efficiently service our clients. For example, through various doesn't mean automating the complex legal advice. We will come back to that. But for example, using tools like automating onboarding or automated intake forms from clients, e-signature procedures and everything, so that there is enough time for the lawyer to be left and do the high-value work and not just the paperwork. Mm-hmm. Another innovation, and it comes to what I had mentioned before, is how we position ourselves in this whole thing. And for example, when a client is first exploring Cyprus as a jurisdiction, And they're not just asking the legal questions. They want to know about tax efficiency. They want to know what the regulatory environment is like. And they want to know the operational risk. And they want to plan ahead. And in order to become and be relevant in all of this is what we mentioned before. We need to be strategic in our advice. So you don't need a lawyer to address each item in isolation. You need a lawyer who can share this strategic outlook in the
Be
whole
more
thing.
holistic with
more
it.
holistic,
Yeah.
although I don't particularly enjoy that
That word.
that word. But yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
For me, innovation doesn't have to be in your face, you know? It can be very simple, just realigning, just making expert legal advice relevant, keeping it relevant, and make sure that we realign what we say to the clients with their objectives.
Yeah.
This is still innovation in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, when we're talking about innovation, obviously the big elephant in the room is always going to be AI. I was talking to a colleague a couple of weeks ago, and he said, I'm starting to get phone calls from people in Tel Aviv who are searching for a real estate lawyer in ChatGPT. And ChatGPT listed this lawyer in the top 3 lawyers in Larnaca for real estate. And he was baffled. How did this happen? But also, is this where clients are now finding even their lawyers? And we can see, you know, that online we'll see lots of different posts that AI is coming for our jobs, that we won't need lawyers anymore because ChatGPT can write articles, it can write contracts, although it doesn't do it very well, guys.
In my experience,
yeah, I'll give you some time. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
In my experience, especially when it comes to law, it has happened to me that ChatGPT even invents articles, regardless of the prompt
And
that
cases.
you put in. And they, because it makes the logical assumption that there should be a law somewhere, an article somewhere that says this thing. And because we are
there should be something like that.
There should be something. So it makes the assumption that that has been covered. So it searches through the databases of all the common law jurisdictions and just comes with articles that are not there. And just there you go.
It's come up, with laws that don't exist in Cyprus, in my experience. Yeah. Where there is a law like that in England, for example, there must be one in Cyprus, so it assumes that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other day, I was looking at the new regulations about the law about the communal areas in the communal buildings. And one client told me, he said to me, what is this new law about the regulations about the communal areas? And I was something like that. I said, I'm missing something here. So I went over on ChatGPT and I asked, there's a new regulations. And he brought me over a whole article, okay, and said, yeah, there is those discussions. I said, and it says Article 6 of Lockup 224. I said, oh my God, what is this? And then I asked the team, can you search to find what is this? It's amendments on the law that we are not aware of. The team came back and said, we cannot find this. And then I started ringing the Cyprus Bar Associations. I said to them, there is any law in relations with the specific articles? And then they start checking as well. Nothing.
No, there's nothing.
You have to be very careful, Paula.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think there was one case in the United States where there was a lawyer that he based over on... It was in Italy that he presented to the court case law that actually he took it from AI, but it was fake, isn't it? And at the end of the day, I think they
I can explain why this is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And I'll give you some time at the end, of course. Of course.
Thank you.
Lucy, within family law, we've seen in the UK right now, I don't know if you saw it, but the SRA has just approved an AI law firm in debt collection. Yeah. I can see how that could be very useful, sending out letters. Yeah. But how does it apply to your area of work in general?
So when it sort of started becoming a craze, as you were saying, everyone was thinking, my God, our junior lawyers are not going to have jobs anymore because, you know, you've got AI to draft basic letters. But actually, I think there's a way to harness using AI. So in family law in England, we've got various products that have been created purely based on AI. So as an example, England and Wales is we've got wide powers of disclosure in any divorce dispute. So we have the ability to ask lots of questions if we think someone isn't disclosing assets in a divorce case. And once you ask questions, you have the ability to raise questions. And there's been a specific package developed through AI that basically gathers the questions that you need to ask from disclosure documentation. So from that perspective, AI is useful to us as a firm because we've bought that package. That gives the cost-effective service to the client because it saves a junior solicitor going through the documents and preparing questions. So I think AI, there is room for both in terms of AI in family law and actually helping us rather than being a detriment. But I still go back to the fact that, particularly in family law, but I think in any areas of law, having one-to-one interaction with people and not a robot or a computer is far more important because that's where you build your client relationships. You can't build a client relationship with a little chat box. And so there is room for both, I think, and it's how you make it, if you're looking at a commercial perspective, how you make it profitable for your firm, but without forgetting that we are lawyers and people are instructing us as people to give them services that we need to provide and are trained to provide.
Because in any way, AI is there to support, not to replace at the end of the day. And if you use it correctly, then it's a great tool which can help you a lot in the legal field, and as lawyers as well, as to be more productive, more efficient, to organize yourselves in relations with your responses with the clients. It's a great tool, but the only thing is that people need to be trained correctly to use it in the right way. And this is the reasons why we as a firm, we telling our lawyers, yes, use it. Also,
that's interesting.
Yes.
So we don't. We say to our lawyers, you're not to do your legal research on using ChatGPT AI stuff. No way, because it's too risky.
No, we're telling them to use them, but in a very careful way. That's why they need training. And I will tell you something else, Lucy, which I learned last night also. My daughter, she's 13, okay, at the moment. And she found me last night, which I didn't know it, by the way, that there is one, you must know better than me anyway, as I can see from the smile of your face, that there is one platform where you can download a document and they can tell you if it was made by
ChatGPT.
Yes, or by a human. To be honest with you, I didn't know about this. Okay, so which again, when I ask here, check something that I drafted, which I know for 100% that I drafted it, and download it to see. One of the sides, they came back saying that, yes, it's human. The other side says it's 12% AI. And there was another chat where it reached up to 35%, but that was, So there was, basically you cannot even rely on those, I think, in a way.
I can explain that.
Yeah, okay. But coming... Okay.
I think, though, one of the biggest issues that a lot of junior lawyers aren't understanding, and some junior lawyers are using it irresponsibly. This is the truth. Yeah.
And we obviously want to keep the human relevant in the whole situation.
Yeah.
But the truth is, there are a lot of things that AI can do, and I'm talking. With what we can know now, because things could be very, very different next year and the year after that. But one thing that will be very difficult to replicate is also to because we're talking about legal services, we're talking about a very human-centered profession. So the client needs to know that their affairs are being handled with care, nuance, and accountability. You cannot hold an AI accountable. You need the interpretation of something and the opinion that you provide. You need someone to stand behind it if there is a need to stand behind it. And I see this very, it's a good example. I think we have all used a customer service chatbot. And it's after a while, it's very easy to get very frustrated because they're not getting what you're telling them because they don't know, or they were not programmed to know. So it's very easy to demand to speak to a person. I want to speak to a person. And the reason for that, it's very simple, because that person is going to hold somebody accountable for what has happened to you and will try to provide some sort of solution.
Yeah.
Okay, and I wanted to also add that it's very important to train lawyers how to use that, and especially younger lawyers who just enter the arena of the profession, because this is not going away, obviously. So they need to know how to use it responsibly, critically, and ethically.
Yeah.
They need to know how we cannot just hide behind our fingers and say this does not exist. It's there.
Yeah.
And it's there to stay. So they need to know the nuances of the profession and to always remember that they are talking about a human being. So that's very, very important.
And I think our own critical analysis. I mean, I was teaching a group of lawyers on contract drafting, and I showed them something that ChatGPT had created. And I said to them, ChatGPT doesn't think about whether it's strategically necessary for a certain term to be in the contract or not for the specific situation you're dealing with, or whether that clause should be drafted in a different way. And so, I think training is going to be a big thing when it comes to ChatGPT. And obviously, we can only talk about what we know now, because it is changing very fast.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to close off this panel, I just wanted to talk about the theme of the Diaspora Forum, which is how can we as law firms service the diaspora, the foreign nationals? What does Cyprus have that makes it so special that we can service these clients, that people can bring their businesses here? And I'll start with Lucy, because Lucy has an international perspective and has built a law firm in London, in the UK. From your experience there, what do you think Cyprus can do to thrive?
I think one of the things that's helped us to be successful in London is to offer a cost-efficient service, a team that works well together, and just to be efficient. And it's about the communication that we were talking about. And all the things that you were saying, Savam, were about when a client emails you, when someone calls you, you're efficient, you're fast, you're on it. I think if there's one thing I've found has benefited us as a law firm, is the specialization. People come to us because we are specialists in family law, and in particular cases that have international elements. So I think one thing I would say to Cypriot firms is, if you are able to be specialists in one area and even a specialization within that area, that would certainly bring in more work. But I think Cyprus are doing just fine. All the people that I work with over here are excellent, and it's all good.
Thank you, Lucy. Sava?
I would say that for Cyprus perspective, yes, Lucy, you're right. We are quite well in Cyprus. However, I think there is one area that we still need to work a little bit on it, and that is the specialized expertise in cross borders. Okay, I mean, now we see that Cyprus is getting business from everywhere. Even that has to do with all new hubs that are coming over in Cyprus, and we need at least to be able to understand and to be in the situations where those people, from where they're coming from, we understand their culture, okay? We understand even the language, I would dare to say, okay? And people like Lucy, where she's in the UK and she's a Cypriot and she
speaks Greek.
Speaks Greek, exactly. And she has the culture as well of Cyprus, but because she spent so many years, and you, Adrula, as well, the same thing. It's valuable things.
Yeah.
It's valuable things that we still, I think, we need to work a little bit more in Cyprus to understand it, because there is situations where we believe that we are the center of the world. Okay, there is situations where we believe that we know everything, and we are the ones that we are correct, and everyone else is wrong. And if you dare to say something different from what they are telling you to believe, then what are you telling me now? You are not a positive person anymore. You are, you see things only from the bad way.
Yeah.
If we concentrate a little bit more on this issue, I think we're going to get...
Do you think that we need to start looking at being dual qualified in certain jurisdictions? If we see that we have a massive influx of people from certain jurisdictions, would it be worth it to a lawyer to go out and learn about that jurisdiction, maybe perhaps becoming dual qualified?
For sure, that would be great things to do. And I feel proud when I see the lawyers from the other branches around the world that they're coming over in Cyprus and they sit here for 6 months because they want to learn and to understand the culture of the firm, how things works here, and they're spending the time. And however, it's not so easy to find the other way around, to get someone from Cyprus to go, let's say, in Malta and stay there for 6 months. It's difficult because it's the Cypriot mentality. I mean, I'm not going to go away from my home. Why to spend 6 months over in Malta?
Sounds to me like a great opportunity for anyone in your firm who you offer that to.
We've had discussions within my firm because I work with a lot of Greek and Cypriot clients, and my colleagues have said, well, why don't you become dual qualified? And actually the thought terrifies me, purely because I like being a specialist in English family law, and I don't think I could be a specialist in Cypriot family law, and actually I wouldn't do such a good job as the Cypriot family lawyers that are here already. So I would be quite nervous about dual qualifying. But it's just different.
It's different, Lucy, in a way that I'm not saying that you're going to be exercising in your full capacity in the UK and in your full capacity in Cyprus. But at least you will know, let's say, you have a general knowledge how the systems work, so when you have someone...
You can direct.
Exactly, yes, and you can direct. I mean, for me, sometimes personally, again, I feel, that I'm out of my comfort zones when the issues go in other jurisdictions and I don't have a clue about it, how the systems works, and I'm sitting there and you can see on my face that I'm hiding basically because I don't know how to approach the whole things, and I feel uncomfortable. I wish honestly I was more confident in relations with this and to have more experience and to be able not to be specialized, but at least to have a clue of what they are talking about.
But this is not just a Cyprus problem, it's an international problem. And there's many people writing about this issue, how generally business has become so globalized, which means that legal work has become globalized. And so we do all need to understand generally, at least the main jurisdictions we work with, what that law is or what it's like.
Would you then take it to the next level and take a case on in that jurisdiction?
No. It's to be able to understand your client and where they're coming from and what the legal framework is like, perhaps in the place that they live.
There is no need for an actual dual certification to do that.
Yeah.
So, and it's by force of habit and working on specific jurisdictions, you pick up some things and you can direct the client accordingly.
Yeah.
But then again, you need to direct them to somebody who's specialized in their own jurisdiction.
In their own jurisdiction.
It's important that we focus on this being specialized on things. Yes.
Right, I'm just going to give you 1 minute to talk about something. Yes, I can allow questions. Is it? Okay. All right, let's get some questions then. Yes, please.
Okay. My name is Neophytos Christodoulidis. I am a Microsoft AI engineer. I'm currently here between Cyprus and the US. I am developing an AI platform that can adapt to any country law. I wanted to first talk a little bit about why you should not be using ChatGPT. A big problem we have in Cyprus is that all the law is locked into a site called CY Law, which is terrible, and you know it. You're using it, you're suffering. It is an old indexing, search indexing engine that you have to put keywords to find what you want. So to train a model in a specific law of a country, you need to have access to all those documents, okay? I contacted the organization, Pan-Cyprian, whatever you saw that. I didn't get any answer yet. I'm really getting frustrated here. The platform is right here, is running live. I can demo it to you. I demonstrated already to lawyers, and we got answers that they couldn't get after a long time of doing research. This technology is not there to replace you. This technology is there to work with you. Nobody can replace the lawyers. There are platforms in the UK like Genie IQ. There is Legora, okay? They are multi-billion-dollar companies, okay? Now, why none of those work with Cyprus law is because the law is locked. We need to unlock the law for your own benefit. These tools are for you. They are not for the crowds, right? So, at this time, I wrote a crawler that goes and takes the documents from the site, and I have used a lot of those documents to train a co-pilot that can answer questions about the Cyprus law. And the other day, I helped a friend, actually. He's renting with a contract for 2 years. It expired, and he didn't know what's going to happen. He still pays his rent regularly every month. So what is the law about that, right? He gave him exactly the answers that he needed, okay? Don't rent in Cyprus. The law is not on your side. That's what I realized. But either way, do not use ChatGPT. And what I wanted to ask is, what can we do to get these documents without needing to crawl the site and go get them without taxonomy, without categorization, and without knowing exactly what each document is? Also, to train these documents, the encoding is wrong. There is a lot of heuristics that we had to implement in order to train those documents. But with your help, we can get this done, and Cyprus can have a legal AI platform. Anybody who claims right now they have a legal AI platform in Cyprus, they are lying. Because the law is locked in there.
I'd be very interested to have a conversation with you after this,
Please.
if you'd like.
Please.
Yeah?
I don't want to take more of
We'll
the
talk about it
time.
as soon as we finish. We
Yes.
can have a quick conversation.
So my question is for you is, can you help us get those documents? That's all I want.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult indeed, and I will tell you something. You know, Cyprus tried to, Cyprus tried very hard. Anyway, we can do
let's talk
discussions.
after this.
After
Yeah?
this, yes.
Yeah? Okay.
But just to be quick for everyone, Cyprus tried to go into the new era of modernizing the way, but unfortunately failed.
Yeah.
Okay, and we stuck there basically. But anyway, let's talk later on.
Let's
about
talk
this.
after. You just had a quick question that you wanted to ask. Yeah, sure.
My name is Yorgos Yorio from Australia. No relation to Sabina's founder, but I just wanted to say we have the same issues in Australia, and we have the same family law system, and it's all about mediation, not going... We have our own court, a family court, law court. But I just wanted to share, don't be afraid of change. We've even embraced offshore services. Savas, I think you're sitting on a gold mine with all your offices in the Mediterranean to use offshore services. And as this gentleman has quite rightly said, don't be afraid of embracing change.
Yeah.
And that's what we're experiencing in Australia. We're 26 million people, but we have the same issues as what Cyprus has. So, and I'll be discussing a lot more of this with Lucy tomorrow on the golf course.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.